There is a moment in life when everything you believed begins to feel unstable. It's like waking up inside your own life and realizing something is missing. You start asking deeper questions that no one around you seems to care about. Why am I here? And why does everything feel so repetitive? This is not confusion. This is the beginning of awareness. Most people ignore this feeling and return to distraction. But a few people sit with it, and that's where transformation begins. This is what many call the Sophia stage, a stage where wisdom begins to call you from within. It is quiet, but it is powerful enough to change everything. And once you enter this stage, you can never fully go back. Because now, you have seen something deeper than surface reality. There's a danger in not understanding this stage. You might think something is wrong with you. You might feel isolated from people you once connected with. You might even try to suppress the thoughts just to feel normal again. But this discomfort is not a problem. It is a signal that your mind is expanding beyond old limits. Many people spend their whole lives avoiding this discomfort. They stay in routines that slowly drain their spirit. But you are different if you are feeling this shift. You are being invited into a deeper level of consciousness. And this invitation comes with both fear and power, because awareness changes how you see everything. Carl Jung spoke about the process of individuation. This is the journey of becoming your true self, not the version shaped by society or expectations, but the version that exists beneath all conditioning. The Sophia stage is deeply connected to this journey. It is where wisdom begins to rise from your unconscious mind. You start noticing patterns in your thoughts and behavior. You begin to question why you react the way you do. And slowly, you realize that much of your life was unconscious. This realization can feel heavy at first, because it means you have been living without full awareness. But it also means you now have the chance to change. At this stage, life begins to feel different. Conversations that once excited you may now feel empty. You may find yourself withdrawing from noise and distractions, not because you hate people, but because you crave depth. You start valuing silence more than constant entertainment. And in that silence, you begin to hear your own thoughts clearly. This is where many people get uncomfortable, because facing your own mind is not easy. It reveals truths you have been avoiding for years. But this is also where your power begins, because clarity only comes when you are honest with yourself, and honesty is the foundation of transformation. So in this video, we are going to explore the signs of this awakening, not in a mystical or unrealistic way, but in a grounded, psychological, and practical way. You will see how this stage shows up in your daily life, in your relationships, your habits, and your emotions. You will begin to understand why you feel different lately, and more importantly, what you can do about it. Because awareness without action leads to frustration, but awareness with action leads to transformation. This is not about becoming perfect. It is about becoming real. And that is the most powerful shift you can make. The first sign is that you begin to question everything. Not in a rebellious way, but in a thoughtful way. You start asking why things are done the way they are. Why do people follow routines without thinking deeply? Why do I react emotionally in certain situations? You begin to observe your own behavior like an outsider. This is what Jung referred to as observing the self. It creates a distance between you and your automatic reactions, and in that distance, you gain control. Before, you reacted without thinking. Now, you pause and reflect before responding. That pause is the beginning of inner power. The second sign is becoming aware of your shadow self. This is one of Jung's most important concepts. Your shadow contains the parts of you that you hide or deny. Your fears, your insecurities, your hidden desires. At this stage, these parts begin to surface. You may notice jealousy, anger, or insecurity more clearly. And instead of blaming others, you start looking within. This can feel uncomfortable and even scary, because you realize you are not as perfect as you thought. But this is not weakness, it is growth. Because what you face, you can transform. And what you ignore will continue to control you. The third sign is emotional sensitivity. You start feeling things more deeply than before. Not just sadness or pain, but also joy and peace. Small things begin to affect you in bigger ways. You may feel overwhelmed in crowded or noisy environments, because your awareness is now more open. You are no longer numb to your surroundings. This can make you feel vulnerable at first, but it is actually a sign of connection. You are becoming more in tune with yourself and others, and with time, this sensitivity becomes strength because it allows you to understand life on a deeper level. The fourth sign is detachment from old patterns. Things you once enjoyed may no longer excite you. Habits that once felt normal now feel meaningless. You begin to outgrow certain environments and relationships. This can feel lonely and confusing because you are leaving behind a familiar version of yourself. But growth always requires letting go. You cannot evolve while holding on to the past. This is where many people get stuck. They fear losing comfort more than they desire growth. But the awakened mind chooses truth over comfort, and that choice changes everything. The fifth sign is a desire for solitude and reflection. You start enjoying your own company more than before. Not because you are antisocial, but because you are introspective. You begin to value time alone for thinking and understanding yourself. This is where real transformation happens, because the noise of the world often hides your true thoughts. In silence, your mind becomes clearer. You begin to understand your motivations and fears. You start seeing patterns that were once invisible, and slowly, you begin to rewrite your story. This is the essence of inner transformation. It starts in silence and grows into awareness. The sixth sign is seeing through illusions. You begin to notice how society shapes beliefs and behaviors. You see how people follow trends without questioning them. You recognize patterns of manipulation in media and relationships. This awareness can feel overwhelming at first because it changes how you see the world. Things that once seemed normal now seem superficial. You begin to crave authenticity and truth. This can create distance between you and others, but it also brings clarity and direction, because now you are not easily influenced. You are guided by awareness, not by pressure. The seventh sign is a shift in relationships. You start valuing depth over surface-level connections. Conversations about gossip or trivial things may no longer interest you. You begin to seek people who understand your mindset, and you may lose connections that no longer align with you. This can feel painful, but it is necessary, because growth often changes your environment. You cannot stay the same and evolve at the same time. This is where emotional strength is required, to let go without bitterness or resentment, and to trust that new connections will come, connections that match your level of awareness. The Sophia stage is not something to fear. It is something to understand and embrace, because it marks the beginning of your real life. Not the life shaped by expectations, but the life shaped by awareness and choice. This stage may feel uncomfortable at times, but discomfort is part of growth. It is a sign that you are expanding beyond old limits, and every step you take in awareness brings clarity. You begin to see life as it truly is, not as you were told it should be. And that is where your freedom begins. But here's the truth many people avoid. Awakening comes with responsibility. Once you see clearly, you cannot pretend anymore. You cannot blame others for everything in your life. You begin to realize that your choices matter deeply. Your thoughts shape your reality more than you imagined. And this realization can feel heavy at first, because it means you are responsible for your growth. But it also means you have the power to change. And that power is something most people never discover, because they choose comfort over awareness. But you are choosing differently. There will be moments when you feel alone on this journey. Moments when it seems easier to go back to old habits. Moments when you question if this path is worth it. But remember why you started. Remember the feeling that something was missing. That feeling was not a mistake. It was your inner self calling for growth. And every step you take brings you closer to alignment. Closer to becoming who you are meant to be. Not who the world expects you to be, but who you truly are at your core. And that is a powerful realization. Transformation is not instant. It is a gradual process that requires patience. You will make mistakes along the way. You will fall back into old patterns sometimes, but that does not mean you are failing. It means you are learning. Growth is not about perfection. It is about progress and awareness. Every moment of awareness is a step forward, even when it feels small or insignificant, because small changes create big transformations over time, and consistency is the key to lasting change. So take this moment to reflect on yourself. Ask yourself honest questions without fear. What patterns are controlling your life right now? What emotions do you avoid facing? What version of yourself are you holding on to? And what version are you becoming? These questions may feel uncomfortable, but they are necessary for growth, because awareness begins with honesty, and honesty leads to transformation. You cannot change what you refuse to see, so choose to see clearly. And if this message connected with you deeply, then you are already on the path of awakening. You are not alone in this journey. There are others who are experiencing the same shift, people who are questioning, growing, and evolving. And together, this awareness spreads quietly, one person at a time, one realization at a time, until it becomes a new way of living, a life built on truth and understanding, not illusion and unconscious patterns. And that is the future you are stepping into. If you found value in this video, take a moment to support the channel. Like this video so more people can see it. Share it with someone who needs this message. Subscribe so you don't miss deeper insights like this. And most importantly, leave a comment below. Tell me what you have realized about yourself. What signs of awakening you are experiencing right now. Your story might help someone else understand their journey, because awareness grows when it is shared, and your voice matters more than you think. This is just the beginning of your transformation.